Welcome to the Harwood Union High School Junior Parent Night, or it could be day, depending on when you're watching this. So we are excited that you're here, and we are happy to help you navigate this exciting time in your student's life. So here is our introduction to college planning. We have a quick snapshot of what we're going to be talking about throughout the presentation. So I'll do some introductions. We'll discuss the college process and what types of things you could be doing now. We'll talk a little bit about the role of the parent, the student, and the school counselor in the application process. We'll give you an introduction to Naviance. We'll talk about VSAC and financial aid resources. And then we'll do a brief overview of the transcript and school profile. So I'd like to introduce you to the Harwood School Counseling Office. Sally McCarthy is our Director of School Counseling. Erin Dazelle is one of our school counselors. I'm Maggie Weintraub, also a school counselor. And Jen Schaub is our registrar, and she is also our College Connections coordinator. So she does all kinds of things like send out your transcripts and help you with the Naviance system, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So what can we be doing now? This is a question that we've been hearing from a lot of parents and students of juniors. Over the past 3 weeks, we've been meeting with each of our juniors, and some of you have joined, which has been great, to plan senior year courses. So one of the things that's really important to do now is to ensure that your student is meeting all of the learning opportunity and learning expectation requirements to earn their high school diploma. So just going through their graduation plan and making sure they have all the classes they need is really important. We've also been having lots of discussions about potentially earning some college credits by using your 2 dual enrollment vouchers. All Vermont students are eligible for 2 free college classes before they graduate from high school, so they can use these from the end of their sophomore year to the end of their senior year. We've also been talking a little bit about the early college program, which is an opportunity for students to complete their senior year at one of the local colleges where they earn a full year of college credits that apply both towards their high school graduation requirements and towards a college degree. And so making sure that your courses are ready for senior year is a big piece. The next thing is we suggest students really start thinking about where they would like to go to college and what sort of things are important to them in finding a college that feels like the right fit. If you have the ability and the means, we definitely recommend going on some college visits. College campuses have been opening up to visitors, which has been great. We encourage you to reach out to them before you go just to make sure that you are on their list for people who are going to come visit the campus. And visiting college campuses is one of the ways that students really decide if a school feels like a place they can imagine themselves being. We have lots of great local colleges, so if students aren't really sure what they're looking for, we often recommend that students go visit UVM. We recommend students visit Champlain, St. Michael's, Northern Vermont University. These are all really different types of campuses, and so it'll give students an idea if they want to be on a big campus or a small campus or a private school or a public university. So those are just easy colleges to access around our area that kind of create a springboard for deciding what types of things you're really looking for in a college. And then the other thing that students can start thinking about right now is who would they like to write their letters of recommendation for their college application. So we encourage students to ask 2 teachers for letters of recommendation. So starting to think about what experiences you've had in high school with your classes and your teachers really stuck out to you, and which individuals do you feel like could write you a really strong recommendation for college? So I'd like to talk a little bit about the role of the student, the parent, and the school counselor in the college application process. I've been receiving a lot of inquiries from families lately asking what the role of the school counselor is and how much support we give to students. Um, One thing we really want to highlight is that the student's application process should be really driven by the student. I heard a really great analogy the other day that compared the college application process to being on a boat. So the student is really the captain of the boat, and they must take the helm and sort of steer the ship where they want it to go. And then as they're steering the ship along, parents and the school counselor, we're all on board, and we're here to help support and keep an eye out for that they don't run into any icebergs, and just to make sure they have all the information that they need to successfully get to their destination. So in terms of the student expectations, we really are relying on the student to make appointments with their counselor when they need help or advice, to sign up for standardized testing if they want to take it, to ask their teachers for letters of recommendations, to maintain a list of schools they want to apply to just be organized and make sure they're aware of all the deadlines that are coming up for applications and financial aid and those types of things. And then it's really on the student to complete their application and to request that pieces of their application, such as their transcript and their letters, all be sent to their colleges. So your role as parent or guardian is just, we really encourage you to be there as a source of support for the student. You will have access to a Naviance account, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So just requesting or registering for Naviance. There's a transcript release form that we can't send information out to colleges without your permission if your student is not yet 18 by next year. So just making sure that you sign that for your student. Completing all of the different financial aid forms is really important for the parent guardian to be involved with. And then just be there to assist with conversations about college costs and what the financial impact of college might be for your student, and helping students with college visits, and really just assisting with any sort of support that they need. And then a school counselor, we're really a resource to help guide the students and families through the entire college admissions process. So we can help with applications, we can compare and research schools with students. We will write a counselor letter of recommendation for your student if that's something they need for their college application. We're happy to assist with the common application forms, and then just help students prioritize tasks. So again, student driven, and then we as the counselor and you as the parent are here to help support them along the way. Right. So as I mentioned, we have an online platform called Naviance, which helps students prepare for college and careers. And all students and all parents in the Harwood Union High School have access to Naviance. So there will be an account for each of you. And Naviance is I think it's really, really cool, but it provides students with tools to plan for their future, and it aligns their strengths and their interests and gives them sort of one platform where they can explore careers and explore colleges and just really figure out what their plan for their future is going to be. We use Naviance to help send out lots of different pieces of the college application. So once your student has filled out their common application, we'll link that to the Naviance account. And then through there, you'll be able to see which schools your students are applying to, and we can make sure that the transcripts and the letters of recommendation and all the different pieces that go into an application are sent to the schools that your student's applying to. So if you'd like to access Naviance, you can go to the Harwood Union High School website. You'll see at the top that there's a little tab called Students. And then when you click there, you can go down to right here where it says Naviance and click on that. It will bring you to this nice login screen. So if you've been in Naviance before, you can log in with your email and password. And if you've never been in Naviance before, you'll see on the bottom it has where this little yellow arrow is, it says, I'm new and I need to register. So once you click on that, you can sign up for an account and it'll send you login information and you can get started. I'm going to go over some features of Naviance just to show you a little bit about what's in there and what you have access to. This is the screen that you come to when you first log in. It's your home screen. You'll see different tabs across the top where you can explore different areas, which I'll go into in a minute. And then when you scroll down, it'll give you your favorite things that you look at in Naviance and some important things to do and tasks if you have some in there. So the first tab, which is my favorite, is a self-discovery tab. It's a really cool place where you have access to lots of different surveys that will give you information about things that you might like to do in the future. So the first one, the Career Cluster Finder, Naviance will ask you what kind of activities you like to do and things you don't like to do. It'll ask you about the subjects you like in school, and then it'll ask you about your different personal qualities. And then it will take all that information together and will give you the best matches in terms of career clusters. So you can sort of take your interests and your likes and then see what kind of careers might be things that you'd enjoy doing in the future. And then the next one, the Career Interest Profiler, asks about your interests, and then it tells you which sort of, based on your personality traits, which careers might be great for your personality type. And then the Strengths Explorer uses your talents and your strengths and ties them into different careers. So 3 different surveys. They will all take pieces of your personality and your interests and your strengths and then give you different careers that you might enjoy, which is nice because I've had a lot of conversations with students lately that they're just not quite sure what they want to do. So this gives them ideas and they can dive deeper into those careers once they click on the different options that come up. All right, and going off of that, the next tab is careers. So from here, you can just click on different careers and explore them. Maybe something came up in your self-discovery that you thought you might like to do. And then, or maybe you've talked to a neighbor or you've talked to a friend and they've mentioned you might like doing something. You can click on the different explore careers and it'll tell you a lot about what the careers are, what kind of majors you might need to do in college, what the career outlook is for them in the future. Kids are always really excited about how much money they might make, so that's always in there. And then also from here, you can explore the different clusters and pathways that you got in your self-discovery. And finally, the last button, which I think is really cool, they have this thing called Road Trip Nation videos. And so when students click on that, they can create sort of their own road trip based on things they like to do, and it will suggest videos for them, or they can just explore around in there. But basically, there's over 9,000 videos where they've interviewed different leaders and different entrepreneurs and all kinds of different careers. And they have these quick 3 to 5 minute videos about how people got where they were, what sort of inspired them, and how they found their path towards their future. So, all right. And then the next tab which is relevant to our conversation about college, is the Colleges tab. So this has a lot of different information. The thing that students use the most when they're utilizing the College tab is something called Supermatch. That's where the little yellow arrow is here on the right pointing. And this is a college search feature. And I'll show you a little bit about that next. But also on this tab, you can research different colleges if you have some ideas about programs or you want to compare schools to each other. And then this Apply to College tab is something you'll use your senior year when you're applying to schools, where you'll manage your transcripts and your letters of recommendation, and we'll keep a list of all the schools you're applying to. And then there's also a list about scholarships and money. So Jen, our amazing registrar, puts in all kinds of scholarship information in here with deadlines and how to apply, and students just need to click on that if they'd like to check out scholarship opportunities. These will mostly be created for the class of 2023 throughout their senior year. All right, so this is the Supermatch College Search. It's a really cool way for students to explore different schools and sort of develop a list of places that they might want to attend. So in order for students to really take advantage of this, they have to have a little bit of an idea of what they're looking for in a school. So you'll see at the top it says choose your fit criteria, and you can narrow your search down by different locations. So whether you want to be on the East Coast or the West Coast, or you want to be in a different country altogether, you can pick different locations for your search. It'll ask about different majors, different minors, things you're looking for in terms of academics. Under admissions, it'll ask what sort of, how selective you are looking for a college to be. It'll ask about different aspects of student life, if there's important for you to go to a co-ed school or a same gendered school, or if you are looking for specific clubs and campus activities, those are all under there. It asks about diversity. So if there are certain aspects of the campus that you're looking for in terms of diversity, you can check off different boxes. And then just different institutional characteristics, cost, if you're looking for different sports, if you're looking for specific resources on the campus, and if you're looking for specific groups or clubs and organizations. So in each of these categories, you can check off different things. As you'll see, this person here selected some things that they were looking for. They wanted on-campus housing. They wanted it to be within 125 miles of here. They were looking to study abroad. And then once you create this list of aspects that you're looking for, the colleges will tend to populate underneath. And the really cool thing about Naviance is we put your cumulative course score average, which will be located on your transcript. And then once you have test scores, we'll put those in as well. And it'll start to tell you how likely you would be to get into each of the schools. So it'll tell you if a school is a safety school, which are schools that you're fairly guaranteed to get into based on your academics, a target school, which is a school that you should get into, and then a reach school is one that maybe you don't quite have the academics or the test scores to get into, but you have lots of other things going for you, so you're going to go for it and see if you can get in. All right, so once you get to the Supermatch and you pick a school, this is the University of Vermont screen. So you can click on University of Vermont and this sort of information will pop up and it'll give you more information about what it's like at UVM. And so it tells you different aspects. Maybe there are things you're looking for. Maybe there are things you just want to know about. And if you decide while you're looking at UVM, I really like UVM, I think I want to keep it on a list of schools that I'm interested in, you click this little heart button next to the name, and it'll start populating a list of schools you're interested in. So that's one of the screens. Once you click the little heart, it'll go to colleges I'm thinking about, and it'll start keeping a list for you. So it's really nice and organized and helps you figure out where you might want to go. And you can sort of move the applications around in here based on your interest. You can remove them if you decide over time maybe that school isn't the right one for you. And then when you start applying to college, it's easy to add applications in because you've kept this nice list of schools you're thinking about. So we have Naviance as a resource. We think it's a great resource, but there's lots of other college search tools out there in the world and on the internet. These are a couple of other ones that students have told us they really enjoyed using in the past. And you're welcome to use any of them. They're all a little bit different, but also very similar. So you might want to check out some of these and just see if one of them feels like something you enjoy using better than Naviance. And we are fine with whatever works for you. So I mentioned a little bit about standardized testing. I've had a lot of students asking me if they should take the SAT and how important it is to take the SAT. So since the pandemic began, most schools have switched their admissions policies to be test optional. We're seeing a trend that this is most likely going to continue for next year. So it's really up to you whether or not you feel like taking the SAT or ACT is important. We recommend if you have the ability to take it that you give it a shot. You can decide then if you want to include your scores or not when you're filling out your applications. Students who do really well on standardized tests, it can add to your application. And if you get your test scores back and they're not quite what you were hoping for, then it's optional whether or not you include them. And we are happy to have that conversation with you when you're trying to figure out if you should send your scores or not. There are some upcoming dates this spring for SATs. The March 12th is the closest one. I'm not sure if that one's still open for signing up, but that's the closest date. So some of you may be signed up to take then. And then it's also going to be offered on May 7th, which will have a test site at Harwood, and then also on June 4th. So most of the times the College Board is asking for you to sign up at least a month in advance. So we just want to keep those dates in mind when you're trying to decide when and if you want to take it. So you just go to thecollegeboard.org, click on register for the SAT, and then you can pull up the date and the location you'd like to take the SAT at. Some students will take it in the spring, and then if they decide they want to retake it, we'll take it early in the fall as well. There are going to be dates in early October and November if students want to retake it. All right, so we wanted to mention VSAC. VSAC is this amazing nonprofit in Vermont. It was created by the Vermont legislature actually in 1965, and it's a public nonprofit agency. And so VSAC's job is to advocate for students and families and just to make sure you have all of the information and the counseling and the financial aid you need to pursue higher education. And so they are an excellent resource. If you go on their website, they have so many resources. We have utilized a lot of their different workshops. They have really cool timelines for what you should be doing during your junior year and what you should be doing during your senior year, and then all kinds of information about financial aid. They actually have a really cool college and career planning event coming up. It's on March 5th, and it's all virtual. So you can sign up, and they have different workshops around college planning and around financial aid, and you can pick and choose the different ones that feel relevant to you. So I would encourage you to sign up for that if you're interested in looking at and learning about financial aid and paying for college. So VSAC also offers scholarships and grants. I should say they manage the scholarships and grants, and we always encourage our students to apply for those. Those will be open in the fall, and then students typically apply for them. Their deadline is usually in February, so just keep an eye on that for the fall. All right, so this is an example of our Harwood transcript. We have given all of our juniors a copy of their transcript, so they should have this. If you would like an additional copy or you have questions about it, you can always reach out to your school counselor. We're happy to send you one and to explain anything that's on there. If you haven't seen the Harwood transcript before, it's broken down into different sections. So the top has information about our school and your student. You can see in the top right the cumulative course score average, which is the average of all of the courses that fall under the next section where it says course scores. And then under that, you'll see a flexible pathways section. This is where any classes your student has taken outside of Harwood, so at a college class or an online class, those will show up under the flexible pathways section. And then you'll see the learning expectations on the bottom. So Harwood's 10 learning expectations and the different scores your student has received throughout each of the years that they've been at Harwood. And we often get the question, how do colleges view our proficiency scores? Since we don't have a GPA and our grading system is different than many other schools in the country. So this is our school profile. So this goes to each college along with your student's college application and transcript. And basically, this is one from 2019 and 2020, but it will be updated in the fall with information about your student's class. So each year we'll update the different scores the different range of scores, cumulative course scores your students have in their class, and where the different students fall, the top 10%, the top 20%, the top 30%, in terms of the averages for the class. It also gives a description of our proficiency-based scoring system and how scores fall within the different categories. So colleges do receive a lot of information from us about our school and our grading system and our graduation requirements. And then often if they have questions, they'll reach out and talk to us. But overall, our students have done really well in terms of getting into colleges. Colleges seem to really be open to learning about our system, and it's just been really exciting to see where our students are getting in. So here's how to keep up with our school counseling news. We have a blog on our website where we'll post different things that are coming up, activities that you might want to be aware of, or events or conferences or things that we think are important for families and students to know about. And then we also have created a college planning guide, which we will send out to everyone. And it has a step-by-step of all the different things that you might want to know about college planning and where you can access resources. All right, so these are our contact information. We really encourage you to reach out to us anytime. We are always happy to set up a meeting with you and your student if you would like to talk about college or talk about planning for their future or just have questions. So I know we met with all of our juniors over the last 3 weeks. We've been having conversations with them about courses for next year and their future plans. And we always tell them that they are welcome to have any additional meetings whenever they would like. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We will also send, along with this presentation, a form where you can fill out to ask questions. If something came up during the presentation that you want to know more about, you're welcome to fill out that form, or you can reach out to your student's counselor and they can answer your questions for you. So thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to talking and working with you all in the future.